Hello, resellers! This is episode number 202 of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is January 29th, 2025. My guest is Barbara in Arizona. Announcements, and this is a personal update. Some of you saw on my personal Facebook page that my dad went into hospice on January 17th. Thank you for your prayers for my dad and for our family during this time. He passed quietly on Friday, January 24th at 6 in the evening. He spent exactly 1 week in hospice, and he passed 48 hours after we ended our round-the-clock vigil and told him it was okay to let go. We know our dad is whole again and pain-free. And it's been a tough 14 months for our family, losing our brother-in-law Jeff, our mom, and now our dad. But it helps so much knowing I have a supportive and caring community out there. You all are my friends. I love you, and thank you all so much for your support. Okay, now let's talk eBay with Barbara.
Welcome back, listeners. I have Barbara with us, and tell us where you're located.
I'm in the northwest corner of the Phoenix metropolitan area.
Okay.
So it's a city called Peoria, but we're attached to Phoenix.
Okay. So it's you said it was cold this morning. So normally it's not.
Well, it's been hot as heck here. These last couple years have been horrible. So these are our cooler days, although it's supposed to be 60 today. But we have this, you might hear some rattling of windows and trees because the wind is just whipping. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it kind of feels like Wizard of Oz kind of wind. So a little unusual for us.
Okay.
Actually, I think this is the coldest day we've had in probably a year.
Okay. Now, have you always been there, or did you move there for the warm weather?
I moved here for a job.
Okay.
I'm originally from Pennsylvania. And then I spent about 10 years in West Virginia. And actually, you had a call or a interview recently with somebody who also had lived in West Virginia and Arizona.
Yeah, I think that was Catherine Racine. She's in Montana now.
Yeah.
But she had ties to West Virginia.
Yep. So I met my husband there. I lived there for about 10 years and then had a job opportunity out here. And we planned to come for about 2 years. And that was about 35 years ago.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that did turn into a long-term thing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, you are retired.
I am.
The job is over, so good for you. You made it. Okay.
Yep.
Now, tell us how you got into doing eBay.
You know, my profile shows that I've been on eBay since 2002. So I think I originally started buying a few things. I didn't start selling initially. And at some point, probably, I don't know, 18, 20 years ago, my sister told me that she was selling some things on eBay. And I was like, well, how do you do that? And so she kind of showed me what she was doing. And I looked for some things around the house, kids' outgrown clothes and toys, and started listing a few things. And I think I got hooked.
Very good. Okay. Was there one initial sale that you remember that convinced you to keep going?
I think the first sale I remember was a suit that my son had outgrown, and it sold pretty quickly, and it was pretty easy. I think that was my first sale.
Okay. Okay. And so how long would you say you've been actively selling, like on a daily basis, involved in eBay?
Say 15 plus, maybe 18, so quite a few years.
Good long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So even as a seasoned seller, you have a item you're a little hesitant to ship out right away because of weather concerns. So tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, so I picked up a set of china, which I don't normally do, but it caught my eye. It was a beautiful, like a Tiffany turquoise color, and I looked up a few pieces, and they looked to have a pretty good sell-through rate. And it was like half off price at Savers Day, so it was like $17 for the set. So I just put it in my cart and didn't think anything about it. And when I listed them, um, I realized how expensive they were selling for. I realized I had 6 full sets and a few odd pieces. So I listed each individual set for $75, and I think it was New Year's Eve, I got an offer of $60 a set. And I thought, oh, New Year's Day, I'm going to have to ship these, and it's, under my asking price. And I don't really want to ship them, so I'm going to counter. I countered, and I think they declined. But I had many, many watchers, 14, 16, 18 watchers. So I was pretty sure it would sell. And about 2 weeks later, it sold for full price, $450 for all 6 pieces.
Wow.
And I'd kind of anticipated they would, somebody would buy a set to replace one or to add to their set, not all 6 pieces at once. So I was really nervous about shipping them. I ended up splitting it into 2 boxes, and they're packed really, really well. But I'm really concerned with this cold weather if they'll crack just based on freezing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you have any experience with pottery?
I have not heard people saying that's a problem.
Yeah,
So, and you said it's going to Louisiana,
I'm going
so
to Louisiana,
it's not going to,
north.
North Dakota where their high is 20 below or anything.
Yeah. Well, I just saw a post this morning on one of the Facebook groups. I think it was yours actually, that somebody was saying that they were in Louisiana and their roads were closed and they couldn't get out to ship and were really concerned. So then I started thinking maybe it's really cold in Louisiana right now. So
Well, there's that system coming through that is south. It's the Gulf states across there.
okay.
So I don't think it's going. I know it's definitely going below us in Greenville and probably below Atlanta too. But like they're talking about bad weather in Savannah and all down there coastal areas. So that might be it. So it might just be an icy mess and not so much brutal cold
Oh, okay.
that could.
Well, keep your fingers crossed for me because
I will.
it was a nice sale.
Yeah. And what was the brand again?
It was called Castleton China. And it looked like it was maybe from the 70s. And it was beautiful, like a Tiffany blue color with a silver band and on a
Okay.
white background. Beautiful china. I'd never seen it or heard of it before. So
Oh, well, good for you. That was a great sale. And your initial cost was how much?
$17.
$17 and it sold for 450.
50.
That's what we all want to do.
Yeah. And I actually had 2 random like luncheon plates that had some wear on them. They had some of the silver was worn off, and I already sold those for $20. And then I still have a cup and saucer left that has several watchers. So, it'll probably come in around 500 if it all sells.
Excellent.
So yeah, that was pretty nice.
So is that something you specialize in, the dinnerware and the breakables?
No, 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 no. My specialty is pots.
Pots,
Pots.
like cooking.
Like cooking pots, like Revere ware.
Okay.
That's what I love and I sell the most of.
Okay. So do you wait till you have a full set or you just find it and sell it?
Pretty much I put sets together.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure how I got turned on to pots.
Mm-hmm.
But I lived near quite a few retirement communities. So I think back in the day, everybody got, copper clad Revere ware for wedding gifts and, when they got married. So there's a lot of it out here. And I get it fairly inexpensively. I pay by probably maybe $5 or $6 on average a pot. And they
Mm-hmm.
look terrible. I mean, people don't take care of them. The bottoms are black, the copper's ugly looking. So I think, it doesn't look like they have value. So
Mm-hmm.
I started picking it up and putting sets together. And I priced them kind of based on condition. Now the pots clean up beautifully. The condition issues are more on the handles because they're Bakelite.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people put them in the dishwasher and that kind of ruins the finish.
Right.
But people still buy them. And between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I sold 14 sets this year.
Oh, really?
Between 150 and 200 each. Actually, the last set I sold was actually after Christmas was $250. It was a pristine condition. And I usually have about usually 13 to 15 pieces in a set with lids, including lids. And they're really easy to ship because they nest and they don't
Right.
break. I mean, they're 60, 70 years old. So they're really pretty easy to compact and they don't break in shipping and people really want their pots.
Well, I commend you for volunteering to be the cleaner upper because that is a part of it that some people are just like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to take the time, but you
Right.
enjoy the process of bringing it back to its beautiful original state. So that doesn't bother you, the scrubbing and cleaning.
No, usually I'll do like a one day where I'll just do an assembly line and kind of line them all up and I'll have, 30 or 40 pieces. And I use Barkeeper's Friend is awesome. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's just a wonderful product. And yeah, they clean up like brand new.
That was going to be my next question is, do you have any cleaning tips?
Well, one thing that's really helpful, and this was my son's idea, he got me scrubber pads for a drill. So for the really hard to clean, I use the scrubber pads on the drill, and it really saves a lot of time and takes a lot of that really baked on black stuff off. And
Okay, so it's not just elbow grease. You're using a battery operated drill with a special attachment.
right, yep,
That's a great idea.
yeah.
And it doesn't scratch it or anything.
No, I mean, it'll remove some of the finish. You'll see, my sink will be kind of copper color, so it definitely takes off some of the finish, but it
Mm-hmm.
restores it to, beautiful condition. So it saved me a lot of time when he saw that I was, scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. Actually, he's a design engineer for Ryobi Tools,
Oh, okay.
actually near you, outside of Greenville.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
there. I know exactly where that. Well, there's a corporate office right out next to 85.
yeah, toward
Beautiful,
Anderson.
beautiful building. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he knows all of his tools and attachments and inside outside, how to maneuver things. So yeah, so he helped me with that.
Well, that's a great connection to have.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for what not to do that would ruin it?
I haven't had any problems, but I mean, haven't tried like oven cleaner or anything. I don't know
Right.
what that would do. I
Right. You
haven't
just
tried
went
that.
straight to the barkeeper's friend and that worked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
before too.
Now he restores cast iron pans and he puts oven cleaner on those and puts them in a
Mhm.
plastic bag and leaves them sit for like 2 to 4 days and then scrubs them. And he restores he loves his cast iron pans. So he restores those and they come out brand new, but they're just cake thick.
Yeah, they can be really gross.
Yeah, yeah, I would. No, that one's not for me. But yeah, he's actually been here for a couple months. He's traveling the country right now, and so he's been here, and so we've been doing some thrifting together, and he's been cleaning up the cast iron and things like that. And he's had some. I've listed things for him, but he's had some fantastic sales.
Was it the baseball glove?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that on the group. I want to hear that story.
Yeah, yeah. We went to Goodwill, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and a new cart came out. There's at my Goodwill, I'm sure that we have a lot of Goodwills out here, but at the one that closest to my house, there's a group of people that sit by the door where the carts come out.
Uh-huh.
They're there every day, every day.
They're the
every day.
vultures.
Yes,
The vultures.
yes. And they, yeah, I don't know. I guess they're allowed to do it. I see it on other posts too. It happens apparently everywhere. But a new cart came out, and I went over and I kind of was looking through, when I could squeeze through some of the elbows and things like that. And I called him because he was somewhere, off in the store, and I said, "Come on over here. They brought a new cart out. I think they had 2 or 3 new carts." And he pulled his baseball glove off, which I would never look at because I don't know anything about baseball gloves or
Right.
sports. And there were a couple of them on there, and he looked over them and kind of did a little. He loves to do research, and this one he said he was, pretty valuable. I think we paid like $6 for it, and it was a catcher's mitt, and it was a part of the hide professional mitt. Anyway, he researched it all night. He was on Reddit asking people questions because he couldn't find this model, and we posted it. I think we decided on, or he decided on 225. And we posted it and it sold in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Maybe it was a little too low. I don't know, but it was pretty quick flip. So we were excited about that.
Excellent. So how does the money work on that? Was that a 50-50 split?
No, we're gonna work it. He's got several other things that have sold, so we're kind of keeping a little tally page, and I'll settle up with him when he's leaving in, I think, in about a week, and I'll settle up with him then.
Okay. Well, good for you. Yeah, because he actually lives in my area, right?
Yeah, he lives in Malden.
So does he thrift and resell on his own?
No.
Okay, good. Stay out of my stores. No, I'm just kidding.
When I've been out there, I've been to a few stores around there. It's not very good.
It isn't. That's why I've started buying more online.
Yeah.
I kind of go to the local ones for mental health day, or just to get out for thrifting therapy or something. But I haven't been finding the big scores in our stores at all.
Now I saw Ware, and I think I get emails from them that did a new bin store open?
Yes. There is a new bin store. There was one over by the mall, and then they opened a new one maybe a couple of weeks ago. I have not been yet. I'm kind of waiting for the first month to go by and kind of the hype to settle down, and talk to some others who have been and see what it's like. But yeah, there's a new one. I'm thinking it's Sulphur Springs Road, something like that.
Hopefully it's better. I've been to the other one.
Yeah, the other one's pretty yuck.
I didn't think it was very good.
Yeah, it was very empty the time I tried it, and I just didn't get a good vibe in there. So I don't know.
Now there's
choices.
Do you know where Malden is?
Yeah. Oh, I go there all the time to the Miracle Hill by Ingalls.
Oh yeah. I've got stuff in there.
And they've opened a new Miracle Hill boutique in Simpsonville, Main Street, right next to that Food Lion across from the Walmart grocery.
Okay. Yeah.
I have not been there yet either. Their grand opening was a couple months ago, and people say, "Oh, everything's marked up." Well, that's okay. If it's $25, you can sell it for $100. That's doable.
Yeah. I found some. Actually, my son's fiance's mother was interested in learning, and we went over to that Was it Miracle Hill?
In Malden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We went over there and found a few things. I was trying to help her to get started. And that I did think that was a pretty good store. And there's also like a kids consignment store.
Yes, that is kind of around the corner from that Miracle Hill. I have not been in there.
It's really big. It's a little
it's huge.
Yeah. They have kind of a clearance section up front, and I've bought a few things there, some Pottery Barn linens.
Okay.
But for the most part, their prices are a little high because it's consignment, but they do, mark them down, and it's a really big store.
Yeah, I think it's next to the Boot Barn or something.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
No, I haven't checked that one out yet. So, I mean, I like to go up to Cherrydale.
I don't know where that is.
Which is on the way to Travelers Rest.
Okay.
That's a good area. And then actually there's a Goodwill in Simpsonville right there by 385.
I've been to that one.
It's old and crappy. They said they're building a new freestanding one within the next year or so. But yeah, that one's really old and crappy, but I find good stuff in there.
Wow. Yeah, I think I bought a few things in there. I do remember being at that one. And my son's, he's getting married in Anderson in May.
Okay.
And we're thinking we'll probably, if they stay in the Greenville area, probably end up moving there, maybe even part-time. in the next couple years.
Okay.
My kids are all gone, so we don't have anybody here. So I've got one in Seattle, and then he's in South Carolina. So there's kind of no reason for us to stay here when our kids are at opposite ends of the country.
You mean you don't want to move to Seattle?
He's a little cold and rainy. Have you been there?
Yeah. Yeah, you might have better luck here, and then you've got all the lakes around, and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, let me know if you move here.
Okay. All right.
That'd be fun. We could have coffee and talk about eBay and
That
share
works for
notes. I
me.
did that when I first moved here. There was about 5 people that came, and we all, compared notes about where to go, where not to go, and everybody's ideas are different. So I just feel like we're competing with each other because there's some people that, they hate clothing, they're never going to do it. There's some people that they only want to pay $1 for things because they're just kind of doing it part-time for fun and they don't want to pay much for their items. And some people here go to Charlotte. They take a 2-hour road trip up to Charlotte to hit those stores, and there's all kinds of options.
Well, my son's fiance is from the Charlotte Fort Mill area.
Okay.
And so I was showing her mother and her sister how to do it, but they've been shopping in Charlotte, but they said they can't really find good places to shop. But I don't know that they're looking hard enough. It's got to be some decent places in Charlotte.
Yeah, you got to
big
go
as it is.
try them out.
Yeah.
We've got 2 Salvation Armies here, and I've been to one of them that's kind of out in the suburbs, and I walked out empty-handed. There was nothing good, and everything they had was priced too high, like $8 for a golf shirt, $15 for shoes that weren't even good. But then there's also a Salvation Army kind of in the downtown area that is it's not super safe. There have been shootings in the parking lot next door, and homeless people gather there, and I don't know, it's just not my vibe. I'm not that desperate to treasure hunt. I want to stay kind of in the safer area, the lower crime areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just not good here, but they're great in other states. I hear people talking about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, Phoenix is a great place to source. I mean, we have Goodwills, oh gosh, every mile. They just opened 2 new ones last week.
Really?
They open grand openings all the time, all the time. There's so much here. I mean, the prices have gotten high. They fluctuate. Different stores have different pricing. Everything's priced individually. There's no standard pricing. Everything's tagged. For a while, that the one I go to a lot, all the Chicos was like $17.99.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And Chicos, I mean, it's nice stuff, but it's not going to sell for that. You can't even sell things for $10 or $12. But then they do a half off color tag, and then they have, if you sign up for their coupons, you get a 20% off coupon every month. So you always get 20% off. And then they have senior day, which is 25% off, or student day, or military day. So they do have some discounts. And then Thursdays, everything on the color tag goes to $2. So you can find, it used to be $1, but they raised it about a year ago, they raised it to $2. So you can still find some things that way, but there's just so many Goodwills and so many estate sales. I've just started kind of going to them. I work part-time, so my time's still somewhat limited, but I've just started hitting estate sales. There's so many, because we have a lot of retirees out here too, I think.
Right. Well, I don't know if you saw that thing circulating around the first of the year about Goodwill is stopping all discounts.
I saw that.
And that is like, no, people, no. Do your fact checking. That could have been somebody who just wanted a bunch of views on their video. That could have been he heard it wrong.
I don't think people realize that every state or even community has a differently managed Goodwill.
Yes, there are. They're like regionally managed. So even all the ones in the same state aren't the same.
Right.
So, I asked around and showed a couple managers. I said, what do you make of this? Is that happening? And they're like, no. If we got rid of senior day, there would be a mob scene and they would burn the place down. We are
Yeah.
not doing that. We would not sell near as much. They have an excess inventory problem. They have too much stuff. They can't get it out there fast enough. So I don't know what the deal was on that post. Listeners, you can Google it. It's something about Goodwill discontinuing discounts or something. This guy was up Chicago area maybe, and who knows, he could have just made the whole thing up just to get a whole bunch of views on his video. That does happen. Don't believe everything you hear. But yeah, I think if you work the discounts, that's the key. And do you go on senior day?
I do. Today's senior day. I'll probably go a little bit later.
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
But I get 20% off all the time, so it's not, a big deal. But
wait, how do you do that?
If you sign up for their coupons.
Oh, okay.
You always have 20%.
We have that here.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you always have 20%. Senior day is 25%. And then they've got the color tags that are 50%. And then those drop down to $2 on Thursday, and then a new color goes half off on Friday. But lately, I used to think we have a couple of savers in the area. I think there's maybe 3 in the Phoenix area. And I always thought they were just way overpriced. It was just never I didn't like them. And for some reason, I started going, I'm not sure when they started having half off on Mondays. For a while, they were having half off like the Sunday before a holiday or something like that. But now it's every Monday is half off. And those have been gold mines. That's really one of my main sourcing locations now is half off Savers Day. Matter of fact, I don't schedule myself to work on Mondays. When I originally scheduled to talk with you was on a Monday, and then I was like, oh no, I can't do
that. I can't do it that day.
That's why I changed it to Tuesday.
Okay, well, that's fine. So what is your part-time job?
I work at a local university in the testing center. I proctor tests.
Oh, okay. So you're the watchdog over the tests.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that doesn't sound too high pressure.
No, it's kind of like Walmart greeter. I mean, it's pretty easy. Actually, they put out a test schedule for when the tests are, and then you sign up for the shifts that you want to take. So I was in Seattle last week visiting my daughter, so I just don't sign up for any shifts.
Okay.
It's kind of like, you work when you want to. But the other thing that's really nice is that while we're, walking around, because we'll have, rooms of 200, 250 students, we can listen to music or news or podcasts. And so that's mostly when I listen to my podcasts.
So you're really just kind of a glorified babysitter. Yeah. Okay. Well, that works. That's a great retirement job.
It's perfect. It's awesome.
You don't have to bring the work home with you.
Exactly. No stress, no pressure, work when you want to. Yeah, it's really worked out really well.
That's fun. How'd you get that job?
I had a business I sold about 3 years ago, and I had done some catering with the university. It was actually across the street from where my store was. And so when I started to look for something part-time, just because I knew I needed to do, something else, I just, went on their website, and they were looking for these test proctors.
Very good. I like that. Yeah. Okay. And then back to your discount days. I have started foregoing senior day, especially at that Miracle Hill we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines in there to check out are just 15 people in line.
Wow.
And it's the seniors, and they're just buying glassware and trinkety stuff. And, it takes extra long because everything has to be wrapped because it's breakable. And I don't know, I'm willing to pay 25% more to not have as many people in the store.
Wow. That's like the Savers. I was there yesterday. The lines on half price day are to the back of the store.
Right.
But they have self-checkout.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be like 10 or 12, where you scan and pay yourself. It moves pretty quickly. So even though you think, oh my God, I'm going to be here for hours, it does really move. So I think I remember the checkout counter at that place, and there's only like 2 stations or something. So it's kind of limited where you can.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty limited, and everybody's all chatty. It's a social event, and they all know the cashiers and the employees. And it's just, it slowed me down. So, and a lot of times my best stuff I find has just been put out. So it's not going to be discounted anyway. And
they don't discount everything on Senior Day?
No, they do. But what I'm saying is the best stuff I find has just been put out. So I'm willing to pay full price for it on any other day because it's going to sell for more.
Oh, right. And it probably won't be there on Senior Day.
I'll pay $5 for something I can sell for 50.
Right.
I'm not so worried about that 25% discount. I don't know. It's just a time efficiency thing. It's not as bad as at Goodwill as it is at the Miracle Hill. But yeah, I was like, I think I'm going to skip going on Tuesdays for a while just to see how it works out and see how the, financially, if it really matters, you spend $100, you're saving 25, but it can be very frustrating and aggravating if there's so many, and like the seniors will just kind of stop and talk in the middle of the aisles and chit chat. And it's like, people, I'm working. No, I don't say it like that. That's what I say in my head, but I'm like, would y'all mind moving so I could look at this rack?
Yeah.
Realize there's resellers in there that are working.
Right.
And they close at 6. So, Goodwill's open till 9.
Right.
So you got to get up there and hustle and get your stuff. Anyway, it's just we're constantly evolving in our business, So, well, let's go over some stuff you've sold because I kept seeing your name pop up on the Money Making Mondays, and you're just killing it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I've had some pretty good sales. Well, the pots and pans are just very consistent. So those I usually sell between, like I said, 150, 200. I put sets together. I have a lot of odd ones that I'm going to try listing some individually and see if I could move some of them that way. But those are always good. I just had a really good sale yesterday for, it was $170. It was 2 twin size custom duvet covers that had like a twa on one side and like a plaid on the other side. And I sold them either as duvet covers or as fabric. And I think I picked them up for now twa and those, it was kind of country colors. And it actually went to North Carolina because out here you just don't see that. It's those type of colors and style is just not big out here. So I think I picked those up for maybe $8 a piece. And they've took a couple of months, but it went to a town in North Carolina that was wiped out in October. What was the name of it?
Asheville.
No, but it was
a little town around Asheville.
Yeah. Anyway, so maybe they were, rebuilding or had an Airbnb or something like that. So yeah, I had listed for 200, sold them for 170. I think I had about maybe $20 in those.
Congratulations. That's a great sale.
Yeah.
And to your point on rebuilding, I think we're going to see a lot of sales to California after the fires, and still in the mountain areas near Asheville. That's going to take a long time. Somebody brought up that point. They were going to put that on the Facebook group to just, be aware that could be happening, and what a blessing we could be to those people, because we're going to have things that they're trying to replace, whether they're collectibles or, just special things that they had that aren't made anymore.
Right.
Were destroyed. I don't know what the final count was. I don't know if this is accurate, but something like 100,000 homes were affected in those fires. And, that's a lot of people having to rebuild. And, fire is it's just so much damage. It's the smell, it's the fire, and it's the water, all of it together that just ruins everything.
Yeah. I sell a lot to California anyway, just I think because we're so close.
Right.
So I sell quite a bit to California because it's big and we're close. So yeah, I think that's probably true. So I look for a lot of linens. I do really well with, if you can find Pottery Barn or Waverly or Crosskill, those always do really, really well. So, and you can buy those for pretty inexpensively. They're not, marked up and I don't think highly sought after at the thrift stores like some other things are. So, another one, so we had the glove. Another one that was really good was, and I saw this on a Facebook group that I think since that Martha Stewart documentary came out on
Right.
Netflix, people were looking for that Martha Stewart entertaining book.
Yes.
And we stopped at an estate sale like the next day. We were actually going somewhere and we saw a sign and we said, oh, let's just pull over there. And I walked in and there on the bookshelf it was for like $3. And that sold, I think I took an offer in a day or two for $250.
Oh my gosh.
That one, that was awesome. And
I'm
then
just putting that in eBay research real quick just to see what that sells for. I went back 90 days. So it's entertaining. Martha Stewart. I think that's her first book. She's very young on the cover. She's setting a table with some orange flowers and blue glassware. And the signed ones are selling for almost $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then rare first editions are 800. And then let's see what else. Yeah, I've always knew that book was a BOLO, but I've never found it. So yeah, here's one that's just entertaining by Martha Stewart, used $535.
Wow.
Most of these higher dollar ones are in November and December of 24, around the time that documentary came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And her other books, there was a couple others there, and I just went ahead and grabbed them for a couple dollars, but they're not worth anything.
Mm-hmm. It's that first one people want.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one. So that was kind of fun. It was just.
So, and how much did yours sell for again?
I think I took $250.
And how long did it take to sell?
A day.
Oh, wow. So it's very highly sought after.
Yeah. I just thought, I think I listed it for like $350. And I thought, as more, there's got to be a ton of them out there. And as people realize and put them out there, I just thought I'll take the $250 and just,
But you wonder what the rush is, because, okay, yeah, that documentary came out, but that book is from 1982. Like, if you were a Martha fan, you would know, you know, and it's out there. And what did the documentary, why did that encourage people to buy that book?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Thing, but
and why that book? I mean, there's others. She's got plenty of others.
I think there's a wedding cake book that's also can sell for good money.
And actually, that was the cake on the cover of that was the cake I did at my wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my inspiration cake.
You Martha wannabe.
Yeah, that book was out right when I got married, which was 1989, and that was how I had my cake done.
Do you know about the Martha Stewart cookie cutters?
Yes, but I've never seen one in the wild.
Yeah, I learned about that, and it's in one of my books. But it's the copper ones that were in her Martha by Mail magazine thing. And so they're early, and there weren't as many made. And some of those can go for $100 a piece.
Wow.
But yeah, you got to find them.
I've seen people talk about those, but that's a good thing to look at estate sales for, I think, but I've never seen them.
Yeah. How many of those are sitting in kitchen drawers around the United States or the world, pushed to the back? And they're not going to come out until there's an estate sale in that house.
Right.
It's like all these treasures are just hidden everywhere waiting for us.
Yeah.
We need some kind of, divining rod or something that can pull us to them. Go up to their door and say, do you see these in your kitchen?
Yeah.
I'll do this for them.
Well, that's what's neat about around, because of the retirement communities here. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of estate sales, and it's just fun. I enjoy going with my son because he likes to research, and so we've had fun doing that. My husband's not too into it, but
I think Brian on the Facebook group, who does all the sports jerseys and stuff.
I know him. Yeah.
Okay, so I believe his area is Gilbert, so I don't know where that is in relation.
About an hour for me. But
okay. Have you seen him at sales before?
No, because we're quite far apart, but we were in the same it was called East Valley eBay Sellers Group.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We used to have meetings every month or two, kind of before the pandemic. So I know him very well. And he actually is originally from Philadelphia, which is where I was born.
Okay.
So we had a little bit in common. So yeah, but he's really into the sports memorabilia and the estate sales. And Yeah, I'd like to tag along with him sometime or have him come up to my side and tag along. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he does some electronics too.
yeah,
I'm gonna, pigeonhole him and say he sells guy stuff.
yeah.
He's not doing the Pottery Barn tablecloths and
Right,
all that. So,
right.
that's what's great about knowing local resellers is everybody sells different stuff.
Yeah.
I got into some of the vintage linens. I did a batch of like dresser scarves and table runners. And then I did a batch of like doilies and stuff like that. And there was like 12 or 15 in each batch. I got them on online auctions and they were fun to work with, but it was so much time ironing them and making them look presentable. I'm like, yeah, this is too tedious. I get it that people love them, but it took me all afternoon to
Hmm.
get them. Look, I washed them in OxyClean and then I ironed them and then I made the different sets of similar items. And they sold pretty fast, but I don't know if I'll do that again. I would rather go with like one tablecloth that's worth a lot of money,
Right,
or
right.
like one set of napkins, something like that, because it is work to prepare it for photographing.
Yeah. And yeah, your time's valuable. It's not, I think that's why a lot of people don't do clothes even. I'm trying to get out of clothes. I mean, they're easy to find. There's so many of them, but they take time to measure and
Mm-hmm.
iron and photograph. And I'm trying to kind of divest myself of the whole clothes
Unless
side
you
of
find
things.
some awesome like spider or ex officio ski jacket
Yeah.
that is worth
Or some
$300,
St. John knit
that's worth
or
it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the big stuff, but and I think most people start, especially women, start with clothes because we like them,
Yeah.
we like to shop for them. But as you get further into it, it's just really not worth the time and
Well, see,
effort.
I'm the rare bird. I do enjoy it.
Oh, do you?
It's kind of a mindless activity where I can be creative and mindless at the same time, and take the pictures and just imagine what person's going to buy this. Which I don't sell much Chicos anymore, but if it's really beaded and or boho or looks unique, I will. And I just sold a top just like that. And the lady's feedback was, "Thank you so much. Can't wait to wear it on the next cruise."
Oh,
So she's going to be all pretty and fancy and sparkly for her cruise.
yeah. I don't mind selling clothes. I just don't think that the turnaround's slower and
Right.
the profit margin isn't always but I've had some good sales, that's for sure.
Yeah, you got to be picky and find things like the Lands End tall bathing
Hmm.
suits or sort of the odd sizes.
Yeah,
I do better with like plus size swimwear. I've sold a lot of that in January. Everybody's getting
yeah.
ready for cruises or aqua fitness or whatever they need it for. But it's, just clothes. You've got to be picky. You have to have some criteria, and experience helps is like, oh, yeah, I know this is going to sell because I've
Right.
sold this before.
Yeah, I just sold last week a Lands End 3X down puffer coat.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
full price, 99.99. Went to New York. I don't even think it's been delivered yet. But and I'll do like large size formal wear. Seems to
Mm-hmm.
do really well. Somebody wears it for a wedding, it's pristine condition, but the larger sizes seem to do really well. I like doing those. Or like I said, Patagonia, St. John. I mean, if you find the, really good names. We don't have a lot of
Right.
ski wear and things here, because
Yeah,
of where we
right.
are, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't find much of that here either. Well, people move down here and they don't realize until 3 years later, I'm never going to wear that coat here.
yeah.
And I do look for coats in the off season.
Hmm.
That's when they're going to be the cheapest. And I
Right.
saw a really stylish, classic Brook Brothers overcoat. Paid $3 for it last summer and it sold for 90, right in December. So, and the person loved it. It was exactly what they wanted. And so you have to be willing to hold it maybe until the next season, but buy low, sell high kind of thing.
Well, we get a lot of those too, because people move to Arizona from all over the country and then they
Mhm.
dump their heavy stuff because obviously they're not going to wear it here. So I've sold
Right.
several like cashmere overcoats and I've had several Burberry coats that have sold. Thinking back over all the years, you definitely can find them and they flip pretty well. So Yeah.
Good. Okay. What else do you have on your list?
Let's see. Now this is another one for my son. This was probably one of my biggest sales before that China. It's called a Heathkit clock. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
This is probably 8 or 10 years ago. He was moving to California when he started work, and we were looking for some stuff at Goodwill, and he walked past this. It was a wooden box. If you look it up, you can probably find one listed. It's like a wooden box. It was maybe 8 by 4. It looked like a wood box to me, and it had kind of a black screen in the front. And he said, "Oh, that's a clock." And it was, I don't know, $3, $4. So he said, "I want that." So we bought that and he got it home, and it looks like kind of a LED clock with just red letters. And he took it with him to California. And then when he came back here before he moved to Greenville, he said, "I don't really want to take this with me. Why don't you sell it?" And as I was photographing, so these, if you look, I think there's one listed now for about $850. And I don't really know what's so special about them. They're all wired inside. And when I was taking pictures of the one that we had, it was working fine. And I think it chimed. Anyway, I turned it over to take a picture of the bottom, and something popped and it quit working. I was like, oh. So I listed it. I had pictures already, and I listed it, and I just disclosed. I turned it over for pictures, and something popped, and we still sold it for about $500.
Ah,
And the guy that bought it, he said he fixed, I think we looked at it and tried to figure out which of the wires, was loose or what had happened. And he said he fixed it, and he had had one as a child growing up, and he'd been looking for one for 5 or 6 years. And he was thrilled. He was thrilled to have it. So that was, yeah, I think we sold it for about $500. Well, a
excellent.
Heathkit clock. And again, I don't know. I would have never picked it up myself. I have no idea why it's so sought after or rare. I think it was maybe a kit that people built
Okay.
back in the 60s or something.
Okay.
So that was a very unusual, really good one. Um,
So wait, let me interject something here. Now, you
yeah.
said your career before you retired was being a caterer?
No, actually, most of my career, I was a hospital administrator
Okay.
for 30 years. And then I kind of got burned out, and the system that I worked at was acquired by another system. Anyway, I ended up buying a franchise and opening a couple of Italian ice and custard shops
Okay.
in Arizona. And so I had those for about 12 years, and then I sold them 3 years ago. So I did
Okay.
catering the last 10 years of my career for my ice cream business. I did catering.
So where I was going with that is that you may have specialized knowledge in cooking, utensils, all of that. No? Yes?
Only as it applies to scooping ice cream.
Okay. Well, I didn't know with your catering side of it. So,
Yeah.
Because you knew about the Martha Stewart stuff, but she's more of just like an icon that we all follow.
Yeah. I think that was only because I saw it in as a BOLO on one of it could have been on your group, but
Uh-huh.
I just saw, I mean, I love the post that you do with the Money Making Monday and the $100 sales. Those are my absolute favorite,
Oh,
favorite,
good.
favorite.
Good.
I've followed them religiously. I read them. I like to post on them. I just learned so much. It's just such a helpful, a lot of the other groups, they're just negative, and everybody's, spammers and talk bad about customers. But I mean, I just love your podcast. I love your um Money Making Monday. It's just my favorite thing on Facebook. So I
Well,
commend
great. I'm
you.
so glad you enjoy it. And we do work hard to stay out of the weeds in the group, just to keep it on a positive note.
Yeah,
Because there's enough negativity out there. We don't need to do that.
that's for sure. That's for
But where I
sure.
was going with that is Pioneer Woman stuff. I think the only things of any value are the rolling pins that are like the gingham.
Hmm.
There's some creamers that are shaped like cows that were her early stuff. Because that stuff is so mass produced now.
Hmm.
It's all over Walmart. It's all over Goodwill. It's there may be some valuable pieces in there, but just for the listeners, I don't think that's not really something to look for. You want the older stuff, the vintage, like you do the Revere Ware, because that could be cleaned up so pretty, and it's not going to be chipped like glassware would be, or dinnerware. You always have that risk that something's going to be chipped and imperfect, or somebody put it in the dishwasher and the design is all faded off. And we had that Revere Ware growing up, and it's kind of indestructible.
It is. It really is. I mean, what you have to really check the handles. There'll be some breakage in the Bakelite, especially if it's been, the dishwasher really hurts them. Screws are missing. So I have a bunch when I first started buying them that I just was buying everything that I came across. And I've got a bunch that the handles are missing screws or cracked, or, that I probably shouldn't have bought if I, know what I know now. But, that's just learning tax.
Right. So with the things that get put in the dishwasher and get ruined, when were dishwashers popular? Late 60s, 70s, they started going into the houses. Yeah. So I can see those tired moms and tired, household managers, whatever you want to call them, like, I'm putting everything in there. I don't want to wash dishes anymore. And things got ruined because they didn't know.
My daughter just got married, and I gave her a full set of Revere. I mean, many, many pieces. And I said, don't put it in the dishwasher. And I go to her house and it's in the dishwasher. She's like, I'm washing those pots. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I never put my pots in the dishwasher.
And you're like, honey, they weren't from Target.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but I can see that happening with, as modern appliances kept evolving, I'm using that. That's so much easier than scrubbing these pot myself.
Yeah. So that's what.
Okay, we have time for one more. You got another item to talk about?
I did find a beautiful, the grandma's flower garden quilt.
Oh, really? Yes, that's lovely.
I saw it coming out of the back on a rack, and I just thought it was a printed blanket. And I kind of glanced at it, but didn't go look at it. And then as I was walking around, I saw it was hanging in the, in the rack, and I touched it and realized this is a handmade quilt. So, and it was dated on the back, and it was kind of not my colors. It was very bright colors, which I think that flower garden quilts tend to be. And I think that went to North or South Carolina also. I think that sold for about $200 or $250.
Okay.
I think our Goodwill, I probably paid about $15 for it. That sold very quickly. And I found a Pendleton blanket. I was just, walking down the racks, and there's a Pendleton, gorgeous Pendleton blanket, which in retrospect, I wish I'd have kept. But I don't remember what that's, a couple $100 that went for us very quickly. Those are the things that, you get so excited when you find, because you don't, it could be years before you find another one.
Exactly. Yeah. That Pendleton blanket, the Beaver State blanket, that's on my list. I have never found one. Not to say they're not down here in the South, but I think.
And it's funny, I went to Oregon. It seems like they go back home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Oregon.
Huh. How about that?
So I think wool blankets here. Actually, that's the second one I found. I found another one at a yard sale for about $10. And again, it's just, we can't use that type of wool blankets here. It's just hot, too hot to use that kind of stuff.
I saw one in a movie the other night. It was on the back of somebody's couch. It was like a log cabin thing. And I was like, I can see these on TV, but I can't see them locally to buy them.
Yeah. And I just found, this was on Christmas Eve. I was thrifting, and the stores were pretty empty. And at the checkout counter was one of the Atlantic mold Christmas trees. Pristine. A really big one with the bulbs. And I couldn't run out of the store fast enough. It's about a $200 tree. Although my son and his fiance have claimed it, so I'm going to give it to them. But I haven't seen one of those in a long time either. But it was Christmas Eve, and it looks like it had just been put out. So I was thrilled to snag that, but I'm not going to sell it. They can.
Well, I'm not going to judge you for working on Christmas Eve. It's not really work if you're just looking through a store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good time because
the store was empty. I picked up a lot of stuff that day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was awesome. So, and I just found my first Le Creuset Dutch oven.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked that up for, I think it was a yard sale, and they had it for $40, and I offered them 30, and they took it. So, and I think I'm keeping that one too. The same
Okay.
one was listed, I think, for like 250 or 260. I saw that same one. It's an older one, but I've never had one, so I think I'm going to keep that one, at least for a
Yeah.
little while.
You can use it for a while. Then when you're ready, get rid
Yeah,
of it.
then sell it. Yeah,
Yeah. Good for you. Okay. Well, do you have any final words?
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'll keep following you. But yeah, this is a great retirement job, fun hobby. I love it. It's a good fit for me, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
I love it when I'm out treasure hunting and I see older generations doing this
Yeah,
because it gets you out, keeps your mind sharp. You're providing a service, you're keeping things out of the landfill. It's fun, it's interesting. You learn a lot of new things. I'm going to do it as long as I'm physically able, and maybe even if I'm not, because you can buy so much stuff online now. So
yeah,
as long as I can have vision and operate a computer, I'll keep doing this.
yeah,
No plans to stop. So my family doesn't really get it.
yeah,
They're like, you don't have a pension? You don't have, and I'm like, no, I built a business over 20 years that's going to provide income for me. So that's kind of my pension. And it's just either you get it or you don't. It's okay. I don't feel like I have to convince people if they, because like my siblings learned how to be good employees. And I just went the other way with, I'm going to be in charge of my own business. So,
The nice
and
thing
so
about
good.
it, I mean, I had a career, but I also did this for fun, for enjoyment. But now, as I'm retired, it still gives me some income and fun. I just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah. And you're doing a wonderful job. I love watching your posts because you're selling these all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
the
saw that
fun.
baseball glove and I was like, what?
That wasn't me. That was Tyler. But
But still,
yeah. But I'm learning from him. I mean, he looks at different things. I think guys look at different things than women do. So it
yes.
helps you to branch out. And
Right.
now I'll look at gloves and probably call him and say, "What do you think of this one?" But
Right.
um, I kind of know some things to look for now. So
Good.
yeah,
Okay. Well, what do you have planned for the rest of the day? Oh, you said you're going to senior day.
we're gonna go to senior day. Yep, and
Okay.
see what we could rustle up.
All right. Well, happy hunting. We'll look for your posts on the group.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was great. Thanks again, Barbara. Next week, my guest is the adorable Jomira. She has a thriving eBay business as well as a family and a full-time job as an urgent care nurse. You will love her, so make sure to tune in next week. Thank you all again for your support and make it a great week on eBay. Take care and bye for now.